Well, good evening. Welcome to Space Oddities. Thank you for joining us this evening for the launch of Blue Origin's new Glenn rocket. It's only its second launch, and we're looking forward to seeing very much what happens, because there are a few really important things about this mission. But first, let's just say hi to Daz, who's joining me this evening. How are you, Daz?
Hello, everybody. Hello. Yeah, we've been waiting quite a while for this.
Yeah, indeed.
Quite a while for this to actually happen. I mean, certain things have had to been changed since it's had a few problems. Even up to last week, when it was we don't know whether they dropped it or whether or not they managed to ding one of the sections during assembly.
They've had a hell of a time with this. Let me just say hello to some people in the chat. Hi, Andy. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Kev. Did I see Sandra there? Yes, I did. Hello,
Yeah,
Sandra. Hope you're well. Hope you've had some clear skies recently. We've had a glorious day here. Not a cloud in the sky. Been out in a t-shirt. It's been warm sunshine. We had a second-hand fair down the road selling lots of old tap, and it's been a good day, really. And here we are. Now, a few things about this.
Do you know you can really go off people?
Yeah,
we've had a disgusting day today. It's been raining virtually non-stop.
Oh,
we're really getting into autumn now. But
yeah, well, yeah.
but the temperature's mild, which doesn't make sense.
No, I saw you were having some mild weather. I mean, we're getting into our autumn. I mean, this is our autumn. Warm sunshine, cloudless skies. Anyway, back to the case in point. So, this is a mission this evening, which we'll be launching. Just let me have a look and see what's going on here. There we are. It's on hold. There we are. We've got a mission hold. I don't know whether that's intentional, but we will have to wait and see. This mission is to launch 2 probes to Mars, NASA's Escapade mission. I'm going to be telling you about that mission in just a little while. So that's the important bit of this mission, getting those probes to Mars. Although they are taking a really strange route to Mars that's never been tried before. Interesting. So we'll have a look at that in a bit. The other thing is Blue Origin have to prove that they have a viable launch system in New Glenn. So this, as I said, is only the second flight of New Glenn. Blue Origin will be looking for success. They are going to try and land the first stage today on a drone ship in the ocean. Wonder where we've seen that before. And the drone ship is called Jacqueline, named after Jeff Bezos' mother. And they'll be trying to do that. They tried to do that on the first mission, but they lost the booster on the way down. But, you know, these things happen on a maiden flight, so nobody was that worried. Having said that, Blue Origin have taken nearly a year to correct whatever they had to correct. So Blue Origin always work at a glacial pace. And also, they're a very secretive organization. With SpaceX, everything is open. They let people film everything that's going on at Starbase. They tell you exactly what they're up to and exactly what they're going to be doing. Blue Origin are extremely tight-lipped about everything. So getting any information out of them is very difficult. For example, when they dropped the first stage last week while transporting it, they didn't even acknowledge that it had happened at all. So this is what we're dealing with in terms of Blue Origin, that people have to force the information out of them. I have no idea why Jeff Bezos is so secretive about everything that Blue Origin does, but he is, and of course. So that's what we've got planned in. Well, we don't know now because it's on hold. There is some very rough weather today at the Cape. And we saw earlier there's some very heavy rain, which seems to have passed over now, seems to have cleared up a bit. But they have got a hold on the launch at the moment. So why don't we take that opportunity to go over, and I'll tell you a bit about the Escapade mission that New Glenn is actually launching today. Just give me 1 second, and I will just get that up on the screen. Okay, so this is NASA's Escapade mission. Escapade stands for Escape and Plasma Acceleration and Dynamics Explorers. Believe it or not, it's a very tortuous anagram. And it represents a groundbreaking first in planetary science. It's a dual satellite mission to Mars. Two identical orbiters, and they're affectionately nicknamed Blue and Gold, will fly in formation around Mars, providing an unprecedented three-dimensional stereo view of Mars' magnetosphere and atmospheric interactions. So the objective of this mission is to study the solar wind around Mars, to study the magnetosphere around Mars and the interaction between the two. And this is led by University College Berkeley's Space Science Laboratory, and it actually pioneers a new era of low-cost planetary exploration, because these satellites were very cheap to manufacture. And it demonstrates how cutting-edge technology and innovative mission design can unlock profound scientific discoveries. So really interesting about the fact that these are low-cost satellites. Now, what are the scientific goals exactly? Well, these interlinked scientific objectives will help us understand not only Mars' past climate and habitability, but also provide insights into atmospheric evolution on rocky planets throughout the universe. So they are studying the interaction. So they're looking at the hybrid magnetosphere structure to understand Mars' magnetic environment, which is unique, as of course every planet's magnetic environment is to some extent, and how it guides charged particle flows around the planet's surface and into space. Also, energy transport mechanisms investigate how energy and momentum from the solar wind are transported through Mars' magnetosphere and atmosphere. So this is all about studying the interaction of charged particles with the magnetosphere, and also to reveal the process controlling the flow of energy and matter escaping Mars' atmosphere. And we're pretty sure this is what happened billions of years ago, of course. Over a long time, Mars' atmosphere just bled away into space under influence of the solar wind, we believe. So this is hopefully going to shed some more light on exactly how Mars came to lose its atmosphere all those billions of years ago. Now, the instrument packages that each of the two satellites carries, first of all, a magnetometer to measure the magnetic field strength and orientation with exceptional precision, mapping Mars' patchy crustal magnetic bubbles and revealing their interaction with the solar wind. Yeah, Mars does not have a global magnetic field. It did have billions of years ago, we think, but now it's really patchy and stronger in some places than others. So it's actually quite difficult to study, because it's not like the Earth where you've got a global magnetic field that all makes sense. Mars is a lot more difficult, but this magnetometer is exquisitely accurate and can make measurements with unparalleled precision. The electrostatic analyzers, well, when we talk about electrostatics, we're basically talking about charged particles, and this will detect charged particles escaping from Mars' atmosphere, determine their energy and direction to distinguish between different atmospheric loss mechanisms. So basically, where do the charged particles go when they leave Mars atmosphere? And this will give us some clues as to atmosphere loss over time. And then lastly, a thing called the ELP, nothing to do with Emerson, Lake and Palmer. The ELP Langmuir probe suite monitors solar wind plasma and ionospheric conditions in real time, providing crucial data on Mars' space weather environment and its variability. Now, the space weather environment, of course, is going to be very, very important for human explorers of Mars. The more we know about the space weather environment around Mars, the better, because we don't want the astronauts, finding any unpredicted radiation hazards at Mars. So we need to understand the space weather at Mars in great detail. And this new trajectory I was talking about, so basically what's going to happen today is that the two satellites are going to launch, but they're going to go out to Lagrange point 2, about getting on for 1 million miles beyond the Earth's orbit, away from the sun. And they're going to sit there for a year. They're going to monitor space weather out there for a year, just sit there. Then they will return to the Earth, and they will be gravitationally assisted, swung around the Earth, accelerated out to Mars. Now, why on earth is they're doing this? Well, if you think about it, at the moment, Mars and Earth are in conjunction only every 2 years. So if you want to send spacecraft to Mars, the quickest way of doing it is to wait until there's a conjunction between Earth and Mars every 2 years, and that will give you the shortest journey time. But what if instead you launch the spacecraft whenever you want to, send them out to L2 or indeed L1, sit them there and wait for the next conjunction, and then just sling them off to Mars? So you can have a whole flotilla, if you like, of spacecraft just waiting for the conjunction where they will encounter the shortest journey time to Mars. So this is what they're trying with Escapade. And it seems a good idea, because it means you don't have to synchronize everything with that 2-yearly or biannual window, if you like. You can launch the spacecraft whenever they're ready, store them, if you like, at one of the Lagrange points, and then send them to Mars when the conjunction occurs. If you want to just see a graphic of that, there's the Earth. So we're leaving the Earth, going out to L2, staying there for a year, monitoring space weather, coming back to the Earth, and then getting slung around the Earth, accelerated, and out to Mars. So there we are. Interesting. I don't know why nobody's ever thought of this before, to be quite honest, but it seems a logical thing to do. Any comments, suggestions, questions, please put them in the chat, guys. You know how it goes. We're here to answer your questions, so please don't be backwards in coming forwards, as they say. So interesting trajectory then, Daz.
Yeah, it certainly is. Well, I like the idea, because I mean they were talking about just parking, excuse me, parking probes and satellites and interceptors out at the Lagrange points, so they can intercept anything that comes in from outside, or comets and things like that from outside our solar system. They can sit them there quite happily, park them up, and then if something comes in that we need to investigate, then off they can go. Because one of the problems is when these objects come into our solar system, then we're not prepared for them. We haven't seen them coming, so we can't just knock up a rocket in 5 minutes, and although SpaceX seem to be able to, and then send it off to intercept these comets and these strange objects, because not all of them are comets.
No, exactly.
It's I mean, also, if we had this, it would have put all the rubbish about Atlas 3I all to bed a long time ago. It's just getting a nightmare, that is. But and then to actually then re-energize it and then send it back to the UK. Why not? Back to Earth for a gravitational slingshot is a fantastic idea. So like you said, it's just surprised that nobody's thought of these. We've known that gravitational slingshots have been used on lots of missions, but these satellites are actually going to do 2 missions. And it's a good idea. I mean, we always know we know other missions get their lives extended until somebody comes along and cancels them all. I mean, these machines, it always does seem to be such a way. I mean, these machines, the engineers are absolutely fantastic, and the technology is fantastic. They always seem to last longer than what they're supposed to.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So they can be rejigged to do something else, and go off and do something else. It's just, I mean, we could sit out at L1 or L2 or wherever we want to sit these things, and basically just wait for years and years and years without having to worry about these things deteriorating. But as you said again, we definitely got to look at space weather. That's going to be a very, very big issue. Just to getting people to Mars at all. And then of course they're going to be exposed to excessive more radiation than they do here on the surface of Mars. due to, again, like you said, it's got a very patchy magnetic field
Yeah,
setup,
and a very big
and
one.
also it's got no atmosphere as such
No,
compared to
that's
us. So yeah,
right.
it's something that's really got to be seriously looked at.
Thing is that
And sorry.
you know, radiation is going to be the number one hazard for human explorers of
Mm,
Mars. You can engineer everything else. You can engineer life support. You can engineer food and water and all the rest of it. But the one threat that you have to consider above all else is radiation levels. And if you were an astronaut unprotected on the surface of Mars, you would be getting about the equivalent of 10 chest X-rays a week.
mm.
So obviously astronauts are going to need to be prepared. I know that NASA is sorry, I've got a cat who's joining in here. What is it? Come here. I know NASA are experimenting with new anti-radiation materials that should block a lot of it, but not much is known about the technical specs of those at the moment. So that, yes, I mean, to cut long story short, the more we do know about the radiation environment around Mars, the better. And I think it's wonderful, as you said, that these satellites are really performing two missions. They're going to L2 to spend a year monitoring space weather, which is great, having another two satellites looking at space weather. As I'm sure you know, Daz, because you're Mr. Sun, as it were, Mr. Sunshine, and to have an extra two satellites monitoring space weather is going to be great for a year,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then off to Mars. So it's
Well,
going
of
to be
course. Well, it said they'll still be doing the same thing at Mars. Which, of
yes,
course, with what the plans for the future that we've got, we also got to be start looking um, at what's happening there.
mm,
Because I mean, not to be a doomsayer or anything like that, we've had a few flares in the last week or so from the sun. Luckily for us, well, unluckily for us for aurora chasers, although we did get some a pass by get clipped, which
mm,
has given us auroras. But we've had CMEs and massive expulsions of radiation and matter from the sun that would have been instantly lethal to anybody who was caught out in outer space.
yeah,
So if you say, less for argument's sake, you've got on um, a starship that's traveling to Mars, 100 people, and it gets hit, then you could end up with 100 corpses.
yeah, true.
Or even a worse scenario is if somebody survives and only
Mm,
one person survives.
mm,
You imagine what the torment that person's going to go through. So all this has got to be recognized. Space weather for us and for space travelers is a real serious risk.
absolutely.
Touch wood, with all the Apollos, we were lucky. It came very close to one because we had um, a big flare go off. I think it was between 14 and 15, maybe, or 15 and 16. But it was literally days before the actual event. So that would have given us problems with the astronauts to go into the moon.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's some space weather is so important,
Mm,
and the more we do, the more we're going to have to realize that you've got to be on the ball. Um, and to be quite honest, I think it's like the weather on Earth. We can never predict it 100%. We can
no,
get close,
yeah,
but we'll never be able to predict it 100% because I was just going back last night on some of our old shows and I was talking about Carrington events.
yeah.
And the thing is, we can't even agree what a Carrington event is,
No, no, that's
because there's sort of like five different categories that you've got to look at, and no um, one CME actually fits all it wins all the gold medal in all of them.
what my definition
Um,
of a Carrington event might be.
Go on then.
An event that gives you an electrical shock off a brass doorknob.
I tell you what, if it's that if it's that big, and you're getting electric shocks off a doorknob, then we've been hit by something big. Well, let's put it this way: you won't be able to tell anyone because there'll be no electrics left.
Oh,
And
and more to the point, no brass doorknobs either.
exactly. Can you remember? I mean, I know I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here, but when you used to walk through the places like I don't know, these big not supermarkets but big stores, and they'd have these nylon uh,
Carpet.
carpets, and you'd
Yeah,
walk up to a lift,
I know.
and if you were wearing rimmed glasses or anything like that, then you get close to the lift and it'll arc across to your bloody nose.
I know. I
I
remember.
had that happen to me once, and yeah, that wasn't very pleasant at all. But yeah, everywhere you went, you just got electric
Well,
shocks.
the
It was a
70s was the age
nightmare.
of the 70s was the age of plastic everything.
Yeah, yeah.
It was the age of
Even underpants, unfortunately,
yeah.
very uncomfortable.
It was the age of terylene and nylon and you know, everything was plastic, and you couldn't help but pick up electrical charges wherever
Electric
you
shocks
went.
everywhere. Yeah.
Okay, we're now looking at the launch, and we've still got a hold, unfortunately. So until that hold clears, we can't give you a definite time for launch, unfortunately. But the weather looks as if it's improved. They got some blue skies now. Sort
Yeah,
of.
yeah. So it does look really nice there at the moment. Well, nicer.
So the launch window today, well, the launch window has opened. They've got about another 50 minutes maybe in the launch window today before they have to scrub. So we will keep you informed on that.
Yeah.
And that's it. I don't think that Blue Origin have announced any more flights after this one at the moment.
Well, officially, from what I understood from what I was hearing earlier on, the next flight could be as early as January, maybe February.
Right.
But that will also be flying the Blue Moon to the lander, to the moon.
Oh yes, it's Blue Moon time,
So
nearly.
I don't what version of Blue Moon we'll actually get, because there's about 3 versions. Because he's talking about using one of the cargo ones to begin with.
That's right.
To send a lander to the moon. But whether or not we'll get sort of like Blue Moon 1, Blue Moon 2, or Blue Moon 3, which is the HLS, the Human Landing System.
Well,
So I
let me
mean, we
just
don't know where that stands. To be
let,
quite
let me
honest,
just
we're
tell the
talking about
viewers in case
secrecy.
no, exactly. And let me just tell the viewers in case you're not aware, Blue Moon is Blue Origin's lunar lander. Now, when Sean Duffy, the acting NASA administrator and a great friend of Donald Trump, announced last week that he was reopening the competition to tender for the job of the lunar lander to actually put people on the moon. And Blue Origin were invited to do so. And Blue Origin have got their Blue Moon lander, but it's never been anywhere. And they say that they're going to take the Blue Moon, modify it for human occupation, just sling life support and a capsule on it, on the cargo version. But we haven't seen anything because, as I said, they don't tell you anything about what's going on behind closed doors. So there we are. All right. Well, let's just listen in to the. We're joined by NASA Spaceflight this evening, so let's just listen into the NASA Spaceflight commentary. See whether we can get any idea of what's going on and when this launch might actually take place.
Of time, but luckily, hopefully, rather that wayward boat can get out of the way. That would be very much appreciated. Sincerely, every space fan in the world.
That would be very nice. And by the way, it's worth noting that per the Florida statutes, that if you do knowingly operate a vessel in violation of restrictions, in this case, it is a misdemeanor of the first degree. If you then continue to operate in such zone, it can...
Right, sounds to me like they've got a range violation.
No.
Which means that probably a boat has strayed into the no-go zone. Thank you, Paul. Glad you're enjoying this evening. And yes, lesson in cat care. She's sitting with her back to me now, so she's obviously not happy about something. But anyway, yes. Looks like they've got a range violation. This happens with incredible frequency. that mariners are issued notices saying stay clear of this area weeks in advance normally, and some idiot just sails his yacht into the exclusion zone. Let's just listen and see if we can get anything more.
For New Glenn. But yeah, I wonder if the Navy will send up a battleship or something to scare them off. That's what I would do if I was in charge. But yeah.
Yep.
So we are continuing to hold with blue skies, but a boat in the range, which is what Blue has just confirmed we are waiting for. So yeah, unfortunately, there's not really anything we can do to kind of predict when that will be clear, except hope that the boat driver gets out of the way as soon as they can.
Sink the bastard.
I mean, it's not like these things are published days before launch, indicating that you can't go in a certain area predefined through official means, right?
No, not at all. It's not like they close boat ramps at certain times to try and prevent this from happening. It's not like they have all the notices to mariners out. It's not like anything like that. Or you should, check your equipment before you roll out in case it's, you break down or have extra fuel or whatever. Just prepare for every scenario. And, how about just not be in that zone?
And
I wonder if
believe we have... Go on, Alex.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I believe we have Alex back with us now, and you proved my point immediately.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. We talked about it a little while ago, but we, of course, have some new people joining us all the time, and we have been in this prolonged hold.
Okay, so yes, as I thought, there was a boat in the range that has to be scared off. So we're just waiting for the range to clear before they.
Well, really, they're missing a trick here. I mean, like I said, I've just popped up. I mean, you could send the Navy out for torpedo practice, or you can send in some fighters, and just sort of like air to sea missiles. Just give it a go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, just a few hours before the launch, just drop a temporary minefield there. So easy, really. Just drop a few mines off the bottom of a boat like you would, depth charges. And
a massive laser grid that will cover the whole area, and then
no, that'd be too expensive. Just a few of those mines with spikes on them. The old World War II mines, anchored to the seabed. And,
the old pricklies.
That's right. That's right. Yes, and
it is frustrating. So I mean, we've had this problem with Starship a couple of times, and anything at the Cape. Somebody just idly wanders in, and probably got no cares in the world, probably not even looking out the window, and just sailed into an exclusion zone. So it is unfortunate, but these things are sent to hide us. There was something when we were talking about. Let me just see if I can find it. And again, this goes back to a lot of things that we've been talking about the last. I think it was Ian. So I'll just put this up, and it says he had to tell a lady about who got sucked into by fake news. She thought that a major event was soon to happen, and the sun would fry us with all the radiation it would send them. And then he replied to her, I put her right concerning the atmosphere would deal most of the radiation, which is true. It's and the misinformation as about the Atlas 3I comet is just. I mean, people are just making things up just for the sake of it, and it really is getting frustrating. I mean, as soon as you go on YouTube or anything like that, because we're astronomers and we look at the proper science about them, we get the tosh as well. But yeah, it is what it is, and we've just got to keep fighting against it.
Well, there was a guy on Facebook this afternoon who said categorically, scientific progress is the greatest evil on this planet. So
yeah, but the thing is, he's quite happy to live a happy life because of science.
Yeah, exactly. He's quite happy to be able to post that on Facebook because of science.
Exactly. I mean, if it wasn't for science and physics and chemistry and biology, you'd be living. You'd still be sort of swinging in the trees.
Yeah, exactly. I think
It's
he
as simple as that. I mean,
probably is.
and these people just do not understand. It's like people who are like vegetarians and vegans and things like that who wear leather shoes and belts.
Mm,
You think, where'd you draw the line? You're really being. Actually, we're getting political now. We'll come off this.
yeah,
But yeah, if it wasn't for science and the way we've evolved, then you wouldn't be able to enjoy all
yeah.
these. Um, uh,
Exactly. These
these
benefits. Yeah.
yeah.
Let me just
Um,
say hello to David. How big is it? That's rather a personal question, David. Oh, this range. I wonder, hi all, and thanks again for the Space Society. Well, David, I'll see if I can find a map to show you exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find a map.
Yeah, because I mean, with these exclusion zones, as you know, that they spread out across the sea because they launch out over the sea, and they're basically a very long corridor, which there's an exclusion notices put out days, weeks in advance of when these things are going to happen, and they do extend a long way. In fact, not an exclusion zone, but the actual trajectory usually takes them as far west. Well, they go over sort of like Europe, which means you'll also get exclusion zone, not an exclusion zone, but a warning all the way to Ireland.
All the way to Ireland, yeah.
Yeah, because if they've got to abort, they've got about two or three different. You'll sometimes hear. Um, I don't know whether they do it on. I'm just thinking on commercial launches. On crew launches, you'll hear them shout out something like Shannon, and that means that capsule has now passed on beyond being recovered in an area in mid-Atlantic. The area now will be up from there to Ireland. And that's where the zone, the actual corridor will actually follow. But that's not the exclusion zone. I mean, they go quite a few more. I mean, it's like I don't know what. 50,
Well, I'm going to show you now.
oh, okay. Carry on though.
Right, let's just put this up on the screen. So, David, you asked about this. So, it's a bit detailed, but basically, this is the you've got two areas: the launch security zone and the launch danger zone. So, obviously, the launch security one is the one closer to the actual launch pad on land, obviously. So this is all the exclusion area on the land, and the other area, the green area, is the launch danger zone. So that's the area that mariners are not allowed to enter during the launch. So as you can see, it's quite a big area. There's no scale on this map, but I think you get sort of a guess from yeah. So yeah, I'm just looking for scale. There isn't one, but it's a big area. It extends, several miles out to sea. So
that doesn't look very large, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
that's probably the immediately exclusion zone for the actual launch.
Yeah.
Because that would possibly be for an instant abort. But I know when you see, it's probably also if you include air traffic as well. Oh yeah, because that's just for boats, isn't it?
Yeah,
When you're
that's just
going
for
there.
boats.
Yeah. So of course,
Yeah,
if you include, because also it seems to be going southeast.
Yes, that's right.
So of course, and then that will then extend out further to different areas for aircraft.
Yes, indeed.
So
indeed. Yeah, so there's a similar zone for air crews to keep clear of for obvious reasons. So so yeah. So anyway, we're still on hold by the look of it.
Yeah.
and obviously the whoever it was in that boat that has stopped the countdown is taking their time clearing.
And of course,
So
this is eating into the window as well.
it's eating into the window. So we're now looking at only about 40 minutes of the window left.
Mm.
So for today, anyway. So we will.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was just going to say. Well, of course, after tomorrow there will be no day launches. But didn't you say that that Blue Origins has been
Yes.
given
Yeah.
an exemption?
Yes. So viewers, I don't know whether you know this new regulation that the FAA has put out. They've banned daytime rocket launches because of the government shutdown, and the air traffic system in the US is in complete disarray at the moment because of the government shutdown. So they've now said that there will be no daytime launches. That is between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. and until further notice. But Jeff
Well, that's
Bezos,
not just launches, is it? That's also people. If you're recovering astronauts, that includes them as well. So
yes,
anything re-entries, no re-entries, and all
no
that.
re-entries as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But Jeff Bezos has managed to get himself an exemption from that rule. And you know my opinion about Jeff Bezos. I mean, I've said this before, that he's got his lawyers on speed dial, and everybody's scared to death of ending up in a big, long, prolonged, and expensive court case with Jeff Bezos because he sues at the drop of a hat. And I wouldn't mind betting that's got something to do with the reason to give Bezos, and only Bezos, an exemption from this new ban on daytime launches. So
I mean, it starts tomorrow, from what I understand, midnight tonight, I think. But looking at the schedule, it doesn't really affect. And of course, this is only US flights.
yes, only yes.
Well, unless it's military.
Oh yes.
If it's governmental or it's military, then they can still go ahead. So basically, this is affecting commercial launches. But looking at the launch schedule, it hardly affects anybody. Although there was a SpaceX launch transporter, which is to take supplies to the International Space Station.
Yes.
But that didn't have a time with it. But there was only a couple of things that. But of course, what you got to remember, they describe it as local time. So you could still be launching.
Yes, it's still
rockets
local
on the western coast, but that still have a ban on the
East Coast.
eastern coast.
Yeah.
So it's because of the time zone. So it's all up in the air. You've got to be able to know which time zone they're in and work out whether or not they will be affected.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is all due to the shutdown of the government and the fact that the air traffic controllers, I understand at the moment, are working for no pay.
No, that's
because there's no one to pay them. So they're trying to reduce the workload. But then really rocket launches, that they only happen, once or twice a week, really. But then again, SpaceX have started up in their game again. So yeah, that's the reason it's happened.
Well, listen, nothing much is happening at the moment, viewers. So I suggest what we do, we have a quick break. We're going to leave you with NASA spaceflight. I'm going to go and grab a coffee, and we will see you back here shortly. How does that sound, Daz?
Don't call me shortly.
Okay.
That's shortism.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
All right, we'll just have a sort of a 5-10 minute break. So obviously, if the countdown goes off hold before then, we'll be back. But just give us 5 or 10 minutes, just time to make a coffee, and we'll be back. We'll see you shortly. And thank you for being here, everybody.
Thank you.
But again, the launch window continues until 21:13 Coordinated Universal Time, 16:13 Eastern Standard Time. So that would result in the window remaining open for another 33 minutes from now, bang on time. So it's got 33 minutes left, which is, we paused at minus 19 minutes. So there's still plenty of wiggle room to get this thing off the ground if they can get that boat out of the way in time. So we will stand by and hope that the range is doing everything they can to the best of their ability to convince that boat to get out of the way in time for a launch today. And we can see this rocket lift off and, do cool things such as, I don't know, becoming the third rocket from the second company ever to land an orbital class rocket booster, which would be pretty sweet. Something else that's pretty sweet is some of the support that we've been getting over the last few minutes. Sam Morgan saying if we can say hello to your girlfriend Taylor. Hello, welcome to the stream. We have James, we're becoming a Padrap member. We have Mergs gifting 5 Red Team memberships. Turtle Sanctuary says, I might not be Space Pope, but bless this launch. Thank you very much for the $10 support, Turtle Sanctuary. You've been doing a lot of support today. It is greatly appreciated. Sking is doing a Canadian $5 super chat, saying, how big is the L2 point and how close will the satellites be to the KWST? I think they mean the James Webb Space Telescope. Alex, space is quite big, so I don't think there's any concerns with the spacecraft getting too close to each other.
Yeah, it's a very. I mean, we say a point in space, but as I said, it's stable, right? Which means you can sort of actually. It's called a halo orbit. It's sort of like you orbit around that point instead of actually staying there. But it's a very stable location there, and you don't need that much propellant to keep yourself in that area. It's rather big in terms of comparing to the size in kilometers. Compared to the size of the solar system, is a very tiny location, right? But compared to the size of even the Earth and things like that, it's quite a big area. It's usually 10 to 20,000 kilometers in width. These orbits tend to be like that. There's James Webb, but there's also other spacecraft like Euclid, for example. It's another telescope, this one by ESA, by the European Space Agency. So there are many other spacecraft out there, not just James Webb. But yeah, they're probably going to be close, but not close in the sense of, I'll be able to see it. It's going to be quite far away from each other.
And during that answer, we've got an official update from Blue Origin, but they're still holding. They have said the weather is now clear, but the launch team is now looking into information, or rather looking into an issue with the ground support equipment
Oh, geez.
at the launch pad. So that's not exactly what we wanted to hear. But again, I will reiterate, there's half an hour left in this window. There's plenty of time for them to do things. And fingers crossed, they can clear that just in time. Again, Blue Origin confirming with another social media post. The clock remains in the hold, but the weather is now clear, as we can see from our cameras.
I see it.
If we go
clock running.
The clock is counting. Yeah.
If we go, there we go. The clock is now running. So the clock is running. Yay! There we go. Looks like our clock is a little bit off in the top left, but Blue, the official Kennedy Space Center clock is at least rolling for 29 minutes time, which would be like basically the end of the window. And Blue Origin confirms 21:12 Universal Time, 16:12 Eastern Standard Time. And Alex, that would be 1 minute before the window closes. So this is essentially all or nothing if they can get that ground support issue resolved.
Yep, 4:12 p.m. Eastern. That is 1 minute before the end of the window. So pretty much the end of the window by all means.
Okay, so the countdown has resumed. As NASA spaceflight just said, the launch is scheduled for 1 minute before the end of the launch window. So it literally is all or nothing. So you're on and you're on mute. On.
Did you hear that also they're working a ground problem?
Yes, they're working a ground problem as well.
So hopefully they can clear that.
Yeah.
ASAP.
Yeah. So ground equipment issue following a range violation by some idiot boat driver. And
right. Just to answer the question as regards how far do the exclusion goes, they go for they're sort of like as I said, they're irregular shapes, they're not a thing, but they go up to 64 nautical miles, which is 74 statute miles east into the Atlantic Ocean.
Right.
So But there is some other information. But of course, that includes aviation and that as well.
Yeah.
And then, of course, then you've got the corridors, which the aircraft are again advised to avoid, just in case there's an abort and the crew have to be collected from further out to sea. As I said, you've got your different points, and there's rescue teams already sat at those points just in case.
Yeah.
So there's a chap there with a little rowboat. Oh, where are they? Where are they? So I just thought I'd look that up. So that's quite interesting, actually, knowing that.
Yeah. So anyway, we're now looking at 24 minutes before launch, 24 and a half minutes before launch. Let's hope we don't have any more range violations. And the rocket is looking lovely. It's a nice looking rocket, this New Glenn. Mind you, the number of years it's been in development, it should be the best looking rocket in the world.
Well, the thing is, I mean, if you remember this rocket, I mean, and this is why it's probably been delayed. I mean, when was it supposed to fly? About 5-6 years ago?
Easily.
Yeah, easily. And but it was a totally expendable rocket, if you remember.
Yes, it was.
There was no plans at all.
Yes. No.
Yeah, no plans at all to recover any of this.
No.
And then, of course, SpaceX come along and showed that this could be done.
Mm.
And of course, the price of SpaceX to put stuff into space per ton was a lot cheaper than what anybody else could charge. So everybody's saying, "Oh, hang on, maybe we should do it." So they're way behind the curve. So this is why they're trying to capture the booster, but also Blue Origins, I do believe, are talking about that they're going to build a reusable second stage as well, which could be interesting, because I'd wonder how they're going to cope with the re-entry, unless they're going to copy SpaceX and fight fire with re-entry burns, which will spoil the paintwork, as we know.
Yes, indeed.
So, but no, it's all very interesting. Anyway, we've got a countdown. This is what we need.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
It's what I'm looking at the wrong thing. Sorry, I was looking at our clock top running time. Sorry. We've got 20. We've just gone 25 minutes.
Right.
So,
right.
And counting down. So yes.
Right.
Fingers crossed that they can get this ground system.
I don't think they specify what it is.
No, they didn't. Of course, they never do. But
never do,
I mean, I went through this the other night. There was a triple launch within the space of sort of like 12 hours. And I watched the first two, and then about 2 hours later, there was supposed to be an Atlas 5 launch.
Yeah.
And it was, but that was the very last one, and that was about, say, for argument's sake, about 4 o'clock in the morning. So I stayed in there. I hung in there, and then of course they had valve problems, and they scrubbed it, so I didn't get until to 5 o'clock. So yeah. So I mean, these pesky things sent to try us.
Okay. Just give me a second. I'm just going to get some information up for you about the development of the New Glenn rocket, because it's quite amazing how long this has been in development.
Yes, it's taken, well, it's years behind schedule, as we said. So yeah, it was. I reckon it was about a good 4 or 5 years before it was actually scheduled for its first launch. Of course, that's passed us by.
Yeah.
We were talking even since the just before the first flight, they've had trouble with their pressurized fuel tanks. They had one that was pressurized, but it was taken from a cold environment, a refrigerated environment, out into the Florida air where it was hot, and it wasn't pressurized enough, and it crumpled like a a can when you crumple a can up. That was prior to the flight, and then of course in between the first flight and this flight, they then had a first stage pressure tank, engine tank, fuel tank, sorry, explode on a test stand, virtually destroying the test stand itself.
Yeah, here we are. Look. So let me just make this bigger. So the vehicle was initially designed or studied in the early 2010s. It was named in 2016, named, of course, after astronaut John Glenn. The testing of the infamous BE-4 engine begins. Infamous because they were meant to deliver BE-4 engines to ULA for their new Vulcan rocket, and they were years behind delivering them to ULA. And ULA, because of the delay getting Vulcan off the ground, because of Blue Origin, because of Jeff Bezos, they were standing to lose some major military launch contracts. That nearly happened, and it was all Bezos's fault. And then they started building the launch complex 2018 to 2020. And they were meant to launch actually in 2022. That didn't happen. It slipped to 2020 into 2024. So yeah. Oh, where's that gone?
So it's 3 years then. I thought it was a bit longer than that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
but yeah, do you know what you've just mentioned, the BE-4 engine? That fiasco. I mean,
God,
that virtually, well, I still think and believe that ULA's problems today still relate back to that, and also the decision to stop using Russian engines without having a contingency.
yes, that was
That left virtually them, well, for several years, they relied upon the Russians for launching astronauts into space. And the Russians suddenly realized, oh, hang about, within a few years, the cost of sending a US astronaut into space sort of trebled. They suddenly realized they can make a nice little earner here. It was lack of foresight when they decided that they were going to ban the use of Russian rockets on the Atlas, the Atlas Fives. And they've still got a bunch of those rockets because I think they've got about 11 Atlas Fives left, which they're sat there all in storage. They're all booked up for events to happen. And as I said, there was supposed to be a launch a few days back, but that's been pushed back to the end of the month because again that was down to ground issues with valves. But yeah, it was a lack of foresight of getting rid of the engines, banning the use of Russian engines, and having no contingency, and having no other rockets to actually heavy launch or capable of launching decent payloads into space. So it was the Russians who were launching the astronauts. They had some smaller rockets, but they weren't really big enough to launch any of the military things. And then, of course, Jeff Bezos was supposed to be building these BE-4 engines, which ULA were going to use. And then, of course, they couldn't build it for love of money. They had lots of problems and issues with it, which then put, as you said, ULA had lots of contracts, military contacts for their Vulcan. But that slipped behind. And the only people who sort of like gained from that was SpaceX in the end. Because they had the military had to say, look, we've got to get these assets into space. So SpaceX couldn't launch all of them because the Falcon 9s aren't big enough.
No, that's right. Let's just have a look at the countdown timeline. So they've done a weather check. So coming up in where are we? 17 minutes. We're very shortly. They're going to do a no-go for the terminal count, and then the terminal count begins at 4 minutes before liftoff. And 4 minutes later, New Glenn should be in the air. I tell you something, Daz, it's going to be quite strange if they get that far, seeing a rocket landing on an ocean barge that isn't a Falcon 9.
Yeah. I mean, fingers crossed that they can actually do this. We did mention earlier that they've have experience of landing boosters because they do it all the time with their other rocket, the one they send in the tourist trip. The
Yes,
sort of like
flying people's New
New
Shepard.
Shepard, that's it. It's like our sort of like express coaches here. They'll take you up on a little tour and then bring you back down again. But they land those all the time. So
Yeah.
they have experience in landing boosters, but it's sort of like a different kettle of fish, the size of this thing. So it's not a case that they haven't been able to do it, but yeah, it'll be really interesting.
Incidentally, the official Blue Origin animation of the New Glenn landing on that barge shows the barge at the time ploughing through the water at a fair lick, right?
Yeah,
And do you think are they really going to try and land on a fast-moving barge? Are they causing a few problems for
yeah,
themselves?
and also it looks like it's sort of like storming the Normandy beaches as it's heading towards the
That's
thing.
right.
So they're going to land a
Yeah.
rocket on it. What made me giggle was the little K9 thing that came out on a cord and come out and sat at the bottom of the rocket.
Oh
So
yes,
it's little
yes.
like a little K9 thing comes out. That's a Doctor Who reference. Sorry, I do apologize.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's but yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
The
Hopefully, I mean, and hopefully we'll be able to get to see something. I hope they've got some cameras on the actual ship this time, because I think last time, if I remember, very shortly after launch, we went to animations rather than actually being able
yes,
to view these things. I know there is on the actual barge itself, there are cameras, but whether or not we'll be allowed to see what's actually happening, we don't know. Of course, it failed last time because it was the failure of the engines to reignite for the landing burn.
yes.
So it was unfortunate.
Yeah, totally understandable
Yeah.
on a maiden flight. I mean, that's
It's all to do with pressures and things like that in the fuel lines and this, that, and the other. But what you got to remember is on these rockets, literally everything's got a sensor strapped to it.
yes,
And it's telling you what's happening all the time, and this is how they get their data of what things are going wrong. This is how, and also they've got on some of them they've actually got cameras on the inside, so they can see certain parts of this, see what's reacting. So this is all about data. Hopefully they can only improve. And onwards and upwards. I mean, we definitely need, regardless of what you think of Blue Origins and ULA or SpaceX, even, we need these rockets to progress in especially getting to the moon as well. I mean, we need to. I mean, oh, the dreaded SLS. Sorry, that just sprung to mind. We've got to get that all
you had
sorted out before we can go to the
had to
moon.
No, indeed. The and as we found out that NASA are now considering whether to use SpaceX's Falcon Heavy to send the Orion capsule or the Orion spacecraft to the moon, which it could do quite happily. It's got the power to do it, to put the Orion spacecraft into a translunar injection. It could do it without any problems at all. So, this white elephant of the SLS around their necks that's cost a total of about $30 billion so far to develop this rocket. And each flight is going to cost each launch is going to cost $2 billion. Launching a spacecraft, 99% of which will fall into the ocean and be discarded, and at $2 billion per pop, that is enormous. Whereas SpaceX haven't come up with any official figures for how much a Falcon Heavy launch costs, but it's maybe less than a tenth of that, maybe a lot less than a tenth of that. Oh, I wonder if that's the boat that transgressed against.
I think that's just left.
Yeah.
So hopefully I think there is a path for them to go almost as soon as they come out of the harbour, that they can actually head directly
Right.
south, and it will keep them out the exclusion zone.
Right.
But
right.
I suppose it was just they're just showing it, just something that's moving.
Oh, look, a boat. For those who have the short attention span.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look, there's
I hope they don't see a squirrel. We'll miss the launch.
oh, look, a squirrel.
Squirrel. But
Okay, we're now looking at 12 minutes until launch, if all goes well. The countdown's still progressing, no further holds.
yeah, I mean, when we're looking at this picture now, an hour ago we couldn't see any of this because it was just absolutely
No.
torrential rain.
It's just sideways rain.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that, you can even see the lighthouse in the distance. So yeah, it's but we couldn't see anything. It was just a total, blur, and there's nothing there. All we could see was this rain going horizontally.
For
So
those
as you can see, there was
for those of you that might want to talk about something different, that water tower, in more or less in the center of your screen, that holds 10 million gallons of water, which is quite amazing. And they use that for the water deluge system, and obviously gravity fed, because you just open the valve at the top and the water rushes down and into the flame trench, and there you are. Yes, so that water tower it looks quite small, but it's actually huge, and it holds 10 million gallons. Imagine being on that ship and seeing the lunch from it. Well, I think lunches on ships.
the lunch. Yeah,
yeah. I think I'd hope to see my lunch on the boat. Actually, that's what I paid for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So there we are.
Yeah, have a sandwich.
Thank you for that culinary reminder, Sandra. Yeah.
Have a lunch and a launch. Damn preemptive text.
Yeah. Sorry, Sandra. We know what you mean. Of course we do. We're just playing. I had a really tiring day. I think I'm going to go to bed after this. So,
is that a submarine coming in?
Oh, it could be.
There it is. Look.
Oh, look. Oh God, that cameraman's got an even worse attention span than you have.
Squirrel.
Oh, squirrel.
Somebody told him, stop looking at boats.
Yeah. So
I must admit, because you can see there's a flare, a flare, which is just burning off excess fuel and things like that. There was a picture a little while ago where we saw it from the other side of this, and it actually looked like the flames were coming from the base of the rocket.
Oh yes.
I was going to say, don't worry, that is normal, but it's nowhere near the actual rocket itself. It looks like they're still fully fueled. There's lots of venting going on.
Yeah, and we're looking at 9.5 minutes till launch now. Fingers crossed, legs crossed, everything crossed for a successful launch. But I think the highlight of the launch for me, well, apart from seeing the obviously the Escapade spacecraft launched correctly and safely on their way, is going to be seeing the landing and seeing something for the first time, another company attempting to recover the first stage on a drone ship. And so there we are.
Of course, I mean, this is literally going to be on the edge, whether or not this launches or not.
Yes.
We're at 8 minutes 49 there.
Yeah.
And it's the actual window shuts at 21:13.
Yes.
So we're very, very close to.
Very close. So you're looking at 1 minute 20 seconds before the closing of the launch window. So Ian's right. We're getting close to the point of no return. Yeah. So we'll just keep your eye on the countdown indicator and just keep willing it forward with the power of positive thought, viewers. That's what we want. So
the power of positive thought. But yes, I mean, and like I said, no matter what anybody thinks of any sort of these space flight firms, we need to get these rockets flying, because we could do so much more. I mean, like I said, space Blue Origin, they've got to hopefully they will land the booster, or at least get very, very close, because each flight, as I said, is data, and it's we need to have a firms up and coming. I mean, I don't know. I think the last I heard, ULA were still up for sale.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything to the contrary, so I assume
No,
it's
so it really we need to get these things flying, and get the bickering stopped as well. So
yeah, absolutely.
there's
Well,
just something about
the first thing that needs to happen is that NASA gets a new administrator. The second thing that needs to happen is that NASA gets a new administrator, and it's Jared Isaacman.
somebody who knows something about
Somebody
space.
who knows what they're doing because they've been there. Could just say good evening to the Deep Burrito. Thank you for joining us, sir. Yes, we're looking
Oh
at.
yeah, hi Deep Burrito, lovely to see you.
How's
Sandra just put another thing up. Says there's just something about Blue Origin. I think it's because of all these celebrities going up and down, makes me not have a lot of faith in them. With serious launches, not lunges. So
Yeah. Yeah, and Ian says a serious lunch would be great. Actually, I agree. Let's bring on the serious lunch. Now, I totally agree with you, Sandra. Blue Origin lost a lot of credibility with that whole Katy Perry saga, and they've never been taken seriously as a rocket company.
yeah,
Because let's face it, they were founded in the year 2000. 25 years on, they've managed precisely one orbital flight, and that's it, nothing else. So they've never had any credibility to lose, really. Nobody's ever taken them seriously. I remember the board of directors of Blue Origin, maybe 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, had a pop at Jeff Bezos saying he wasn't spending enough time working on Blue Origin. And Jeff Bezos says, okay, well, what I'll do, I'll start working at Blue Origin 2 afternoons a week instead of only 1.
yeah,
Which just shows you how much time he was devoting to it.
yeah. Real commitment.
Yeah, and everything they do has been slow. And only about how long ago was it? That's 4 years ago when they showed us a tour of the factory where the Vulcan would be built, and there was just half a fairing in there.
Yeah, there was just a bit of fairing.
Bit of
That
fairing
was
still
basically
there.
it. And a mock-up, wasn't it? There was a
That
mock-up
was
of
4 years ago. That means that was 11 years after they initially conceived the design of the Vulcan, and they had a bit of fairing to show for it. So,
but because but also you got to remember is that they've had troubles themselves because these stakeholders turned against them when they decided that they were going to use the new Glen for the Kuiper Belt constellation for Amazon.
yeah, that's right.
At extortionate cost per flight, and this is Amazon, which is part of the Bezos stable.
Yeah,
And the shareholders said, "What are you doing? Everybody else is doing it a lot cheaper, and you're using the most experienced rocket you can find, which hasn't even flown yet.
yeah,
And you want to put all this Kuiper Belt stuff in it." And they basically had to back down, and they had to subcontract out some of the launches for the. It is the Kuiper, isn't it? The Kuiper constellation.
It's the Kuiper project. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So
the Burrito says, "Remember, Bezos is a banker. That's presumably banker with a W." Deep Burrito. Yeah, he is. Ian says, hang on, let's put this up. Ian says the whole Blue Origin saga feels like putting blood from a stone buried in the Atlas comet. Overly complicated. Yeah, I think it is, but I think it's just I'm not sure it's overcomplicated. It's just slow. Right, there's a hold. We are officially on hold.
I thought that we were coming up towards where they will have a hold.
So we'll just wait and see whether that clears. It's just this lack of commitment.
Well, the thing is, if they're having a hold, this is going to be a scrub.
Yes, but they haven't scrubbed, interestingly, because they must know that. So why haven't they just put up a scrub? Interesting.
Yeah, because there will be falling outside the window.
So viewers, can we just say that if we do get a scrub, which looks more likely now, but let's wait to see. If they try again tomorrow, we'll be here same time tomorrow, or whenever it's launching. Keep your eye on the channel, because I'll recreate the live stream for tomorrow, and we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, Yes, the Deep Burrito says, of course there's a hold. Late Amazon delivery. Very good.
Yeah, I think that's the only flame you're going to see at the bottom of a
Right, let's
Blue Origin.
let's put the volume up here and see what
Yeah.
they're saying.
The-
3 seconds to go. So
NASA
the
Space
numbers
Flight is
simply
saying
do
the
not
same as
add
us.
up,
This
which
looks
means
like a scrub.
unfortunately, yeah, I think it's safe to call it at this point. The launch of New Glenn 2 is going to be scrubbed for today's launch window. So yeah, that is unfortunate, but it's better to be safe than sorry. And
It is.
yeah, it's rather annoying that we will have what sounded like a potential red range for launch with that cruise ship being mentioned on the Blue Origin, excuse me, mission control
Blue Origin.
feed we were listening into about 17 minutes ago.
Better to be on the ground wishing you were in the air than in the air wishing you were on the ground.
Well, personally, I prefer to be wishing that there wasn't a cruise ship in the range, but you know, each to their own.
Fair.
The Deep Burrito says one of Blue Origin's
And
better
we will
launches.
continue watching because, of course,
Very
this is
good.
still a fully fueled rocket, but we are 1 minute and 30 seconds away from the end of that window, and with a hold in place, that is
I think
looking
this is.
pretty much
Because
unofficial.
if they started the count, they'd probably
be a
go for
scrub
something like
for
4
today.
minutes at least.
Yeah,
Don't know
not
if we have
more.
the official confirmation of what, if any of individually or combination of the factors it was, because it sounded like, again, in the countdown there was different pendings for the launch vehicle hold down pin bolt clamp thing, the weather, the range with the cruise ship. So there's a lot of different potentials.
And we are now past the time of launch, which means we are most definitely not launching today. And that's pretty safe to call. That is a scrub today of New Glenn 2 and Escapade. We are not going to be launching today, unfortunately. And yeah, that is the end of the day.
Yeah, scrub. They put.
Oh, there we are then. So, sorry about that, guys.
Yeah.
It's just completely, obviously, in the lap of the gods at this point. So, but obviously, the most wonderful thing is that you've joined us this evening, for which we thank you greatly. So, thank you for being here.
Yep.
We will obviously keep our ear to nose to the ear to the grindstone, whatever. We'll let you know when it's happening again. So we'll keep an eye on it, and we will recreate the live stream. Hopefully they'll be going for it same time tomorrow. If so, we'll be here. But keep your eye on the channel, and you will find out when it's going to be.
And if you join us, make sure to bring a pack of cards, because I think you'll be playing Patience.
Ooh, you should have been on Bruce's big night with that sort of
Good
thing.
game, good game. Higher or lower, higher or lower.
No, it was meant to be higher today, but in the end it didn't go anywhere. Anyway, so thank you. No, really, seriously, thank you so much for joining us.
And it's been nice talking to you as well, Sandra.
Yeah, it's been bit. At least the hatch didn't pop off this time. There is that. So anyway, we'll hopefully see you tomorrow. But I will post the live stream, obviously, but also keep your eye on the posts tab on the channel, because that's where I keep the updates. So keep your eye on the post tab, and I will update everybody there on the Space Oddities channel on YouTube. So hope to see you there. And thank you, David, for being here. And nice to see you. And we'll see you whenever. But we're working on the assumption they're going to try again tomorrow. But we don't know. So from everybody, well, not from everybody, but from Daz and myself, certainly, have a fantastic night. I'm off to bed now. I'm actually knackered. I've been humping fridges. Well, no, I'll rephrase that. Moving fridges around today, and all sorts of stuff. New oven, all sorts of stuff. Anyway, I'm going to bed. So good night.